This is the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester Hybrid. Is the Hybrid the best Forester ever? Well, we're going to take it for a drive and then put it to the test. Right now on Driving Sports TV. In 2024, the Forester was the second best-selling model in Subaru's lineup, just after the Crosstrek. But even so, it was 8th overall in the compact crossover market. The number one position was the Toyota RAV4 by a massive margin. And almost half of those were either a RAV4 Hybrid or the Prime RAV4 plug-in electric. The Forester is a nice little crossover. So what has it been missing? For the prior generation of Forester, it's only been available with one powertrain, a 2.5-liter Boxer 4-cylinder making 180 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque. Is it economical? Well, sure, for a petrol-only solution, but buyers have been clamoring for a hybrid option. Well, today, a more powerful and economical Forester has finally arrived. This is the 2025 Forester Hybrid, as you see it here in limited trim. And yes, it does look a lot like the standard Forester. You can tell that this is a hybrid from the outside because of the badge right there. It also does get unique wheels. On the inside, the hybrids all get digital gauge clusters, 11.6-inch infotainment, improved sound deadening, and a large moonroof. The hybrid will be available in premium, sport, limited, and touring trims, just like a normal Forester. The three lowest trims do have animal-free interiors, with the touring getting leather option. Subaru has added some additional content to the trim levels of the hybrid because these are already going to be a little more expensive. You're looking at up to a $1,500 price premium on the hybrid versus the standard Forester. Price of the Forester Hybrid Limited that we're testing today, with the only option being the River Rock Pearl paint, you're looking at $41,225 US, including destination. Under the hood, you get a 2.5-liter Atkinson Cycle Boxer 4-cylinder engine combined with a pair of motor generators. This produces a peak 194 horsepower. Torque also gets a significant bump, with the primary electric motor producing up to 199 pound-feet of torque. The battery is rather small. It's a 1.1 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion unit stored under the rear floor. EPA rates economy of this new hybrid at 35 miles to the gallon in town and 34 on the highway. Considering the standard 16.6-gallon fuel tank, that's up to 581 miles between fill-ups. That's pretty impressive. Also, fun fact about the way the transmission is set up, there's no actual reverse gear in this vehicle. It uses the electric motors exclusively to go in reverse. The roof rails here can handle up to 700 pounds of static load. That means if you want to put a rooftop tent, it will easily handle 2 adults. In the back here, you get 27.6 cubic feet of cargo space behind the second row. Fold all the seats flat for up to 69.1 cubic feet overall. Can you sleep in it? I'm 6'1", and actually it's not bad. I do have to curl up a little bit because this is a compact, so I won't want to be in here long, but one night, yeah, I could deal with this. Under the floor, you have a small amount of storage, but really it's all battery. Instead, over here, we get a fix-a-flat kit. And then of course, at this trim level, you also get a privacy screen. It's a nice setup. One thing I like about the Forester is it actually has enough legroom and headroom in the second row for an adult. I'm 6'1", legs torso proportionate. I got lots of room. This is where I would be seated if I were driving, and it's great. Down here, I also get vents, which is nice in a compact, plus a USB-C and USB-A socket. And over here, fold-down armrest with cup holders. On the inside of the Forester Hybrid, the biggest difference is the fact that you get a digital gauge cluster, and that is standard across all of the hybrid trims. Even though I don't love the design of it, I will say the functionality of this digital gauge cluster is really nice. The head unit here is Subaru's standard vertical display. It does support wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. However, only Apple CarPlay will project maps onto the digital gauge cluster. And when it does it, you get turn-by-turn in the cluster, and then you get an overall view on the main display. It's kind of cool to give you 2 different views while you're navigating. And of course, that allows you to use other apps in the central display while you still get your turn-by-turns in the digital gauge cluster. I'm actually really happy that everybody's going to digital gauge clusters because they can provide additional functionality if they're designed correctly. Other than that, this basically looks like a standard 2025 Subaru Forester. This is good. I do like this interior. I think it has nice fabrics. It has nice textures. The seat really plush in this limited trim. And of course, we get Subaru's EyeSight safety system. We get blind spot monitoring. We also have a rear backup camera with rear auto braking and parking sensors too. So I think we are ready to go. First, we're going to see how it drives, and then we're going to take this to the Hollister Hills Off-Road Vehicle Park and put it to the test. Let's drive. Oh, that's interesting. I put it into drive, and we're instantly in EV mode. Now, this isn't a plug-in electric, so it's not going to like drive up to 85 miles per hour in all EV mode, but it can do up to 25-ish. And it will manage that battery and that EV power system by itself. There's nothing you have to do as a driver. I'm kind of surprised that people still don't know that, but just be aware, hybrid, battery, it's not always going to show that it's fully charged, and that's okay. It's managing its charge-discharge for you. And away we go. Consumers have been begging Subaru to make a hybrid Forester. So I'm glad that they finally brought one to the table. And they didn't just dial it in. They could have easily just bought the same wholesale system that's in the RAV4, kind of like Mazda did recently with their CX-50 hybrid, but they didn't. They bought some of the tech from Toyota, and really not a lot of it. You know, there's a planetary gear set connected to one of the motor generators. That's Toyota. But the second motor generator, because it's more powerful than what Toyota uses. And of course, keep in mind, the competitor to this, which is the Toyota RAV4, it primarily uses two motor generators in the front to power the front wheels along with the gas engine, and it uses a dedicated electric motor in the back to power the rear wheels. This, it's just like a regular Subaru. They basically have the two motor generators and the gas engine working in tandem all together up front with a standard drive shaft down the middle going to the rear wheels, which is great. Of course, the main reason why people initially think of getting a hybrid is better fuel economy. So I'm going to go ahead and reset my trip. So we'll see how long we're going here. We're at 0. We're on our trip B. And that has now reset. And now let's see what kind of MPGs we get out of this thing. Now, I'm not going to hypermile. I'm not going to attempt some like crazy best economy because frankly, that's not how I drive normal. And I don't think I should fake things for the review. So I'm just going to drive normal here. And we just had our first tick in of MPGs. It looks like we're doing 25.6, but that is not enough data to actually be a comprehensive result. So let's keep driving and see what it does. So what are we at? We have a speed limit of 65. So we're going to peg it on 65. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the adaptive cruise control with lane centering. And make sure we got a little screen steering wheel illuminated up on the dash there on the right. And this is actually, I mean, it's kind of driving itself, but it is a hands-on system. So let's just see what this can do. So on the freeway here, one of the things I'm noticing immediately is this has to be one of the quietest Foresters I've ever driven. I'm getting a little wind noise on the outside. I think some of it is off the roof rails. Yeah, a little bit off the wing mirror. But overall, actually, this is a really pleasant ride. And also, these limited seats, these are so comfortable. I have really good support. I have nice padding. I do have a power lumbar if I want to adjust that in the back. And of course, I also get 3 stages of heat, which is really nice. So let's go ahead and roll forward and I'll report back once we hit 10 miles. We'll see what the calculated MPGs are. So we're just about to jump off the highway now, and I've driven a total of 68.2 miles, and I got 36.1 MPGs with a little bit of stop and go and some rather high speed freeway bits. Well, now we're gonna peel off onto a side road as we head out to Hollister Hills. Well, let's see what this will do on a 0 to 60. Now I have the SI drive set for S. There's nothing else really to do. I'm just gonna stop. I'm just gonna hit the throttle. 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, can hear it kick in. 37, 40, 50, and 60. You know, that felt a lot better than the old Forester. Still not fast, but it's definitely an improvement. It was nice to get some MPG numbers on the freeway, but now finally we're on the back roads of Central California, and this is where it's fun to drive. Of course, if you really want to attack the corners, then a WRX would be a better choice, but there's no reason you can't have some fun even if you want to drive a boxy crossover. And with the little extra kick that I get from the hybrid powertrain, it really makes this a more enjoyable vehicle. It just does. So even being a little aggressive with the brakes here into the corners, they feel like analog brakes. Like they did such a great job calibrating the regen to braking transition. I can't even tell where that transition is, honestly. And then in terms of acceleration, similar characteristics to the other Forester, it just has a little bit more kick on the bottom end. This Forester Hybrid uses Subaru's active symmetrical all-wheel drive. That means that it has essentially a 60-40 split. Of course, that changes all the time depending on how you're driving, but it is always putting something to the back wheels, which is not true for many other hybrids in this class. Obviously, this is a family crossover, and it's going to be dialed to have some push in the corners. So yeah, you're going to get understeer. It's natural. But you know, it's really not bad. On the limited trim, you do get paddle shifters, and they do let you virtually shift gears with the somewhat CVT transmission. If I gate it over into manual mode, I can then use the paddle shifters to shift through 6 virtual gears. And I say virtual because even though this is a CVT, it's not Subaru's Lineartronic CVT. This is actually a planetary gear-based system, similar to what Toyota uses. Or, I mean, quite honestly, it's probably the same one that Toyota uses. But here, it gives you a more direct feel than the Lineartronic does, and it works good. But now it's time to turn our attention to the competition. This is a 2025 Toyota RAV4. That is the best-selling compact hybrid crossover. And for good reason. It gets excellent economy, it has nice features. I think it actually looks pretty good. The biggest difference between these two vehicles is in the way that the all-wheel drive systems function. With the Subaru, it does have 2 electric motors and a gas engine up front, and those are connected through the transmission to a drive shaft, which then powers the rear wheels. It's just like all other Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive systems. The RAV4, it doesn't use a drive shaft to power the rear wheels. Instead, it uses a dedicated electric motor. I believe it's around 83 horsepower, and that provides all the all-wheel drive functionality. So, totally different approaches here. The benefit of the RAV4 is it's very economical, and it does give you all-wheel drive capability when you need it. So which all-wheel drive system is better when it comes to challenging conditions? Well, we have a hill climb here to see which is best. And we're going to start with the Subaru. Okay, well, this is going to be fun. Okay, so we have very deep trenches and a very steep climb. So I have all of the parking sensors are disabled at this point. I'm going to keep my foot in it. There's going to have to be some momentum because that's ridiculous. And here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's do it. Up the edge, keep it on the ridge, down the middle. Come on, keep the foot in. Oh, it gets up it with no issue. Bam! Okay, now let's see how the Toyota does. Now we're going to do the exact same thing, same approach. Now we could just stop halfway up and then throttle it, but that's not how people will do a hill like this normally, so let's keep things realistic. I can already tell this suspension, way stiffer. So here we go, and let's just send it. There's no settings, I'm in sport mode, so I have maximum power out. This is an XLE, it has no trail modes. Okay, can we get up, can we get up? Oh, it's working, wow, come on. Ah, wow, it got up. And it drug half the hill with it too. Okay. It was able to get up, it did not have a good time. Wow. Okay, well, that is interesting. Ground clearance an issue. Power, it was really struggling there. It did make it up though, and that is kind of what matters. Because the RAV4 made it up, I think we're gonna kick things up a notch, and I'm gonna do a start from the middle of the climb. At right about here. I feel it's a little slippery. Let's get the seat up. I'm all the way back in my seat. Okay, I'm gonna put it in sport mode, and I'm gonna lock it into first gear so we don't get a gear change hiccup as we're climbing. 3, 2, 1, go. Full throttle, go into the hole. Oh yeah, we got this, Come on, RAV4. Oh, okay, let's try it again. I think we were close there. I still have power on the battery. The rear battery still has juice. It's not a lack of rear power thing. Let's go forward. Momentum, momentum, momentum. Come on, you got this. Nope. I am smoking the tires though. Okay, one more attempt. If this doesn't make it up, then it's done. And right here. Okay. Right where it's slimy apparently. And roll in the throttle. Come on, you got this. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, made it up. Now let's see if the Subaru can do that. Ha! Okay, now we're gonna try Subaru, and I am going to use X mode Type 1 again. Like before, I'm going to go ahead and stop right on the cone. X mode Type 1, I'm in drive, no other changes. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, floor it. Oh, so much easier. It's like it was no problem at all. Okay, I think we illustrated a point, let's move on. This being a limited trim of the new Forester Hybrid, it has not one, but 2 versions of X mode. You get standard X mode, which is snow and dirt, and then you also get deep snow and mud. What X mode does is it engages an off-road tuned brake vectoring system. It will grab down with the brakes on wheels that either have no grip or are spinning or are lifted, and it'll then allow that power to get shifted back into the system, which then presumably allows them to be, you know, the wheels with grip will push us forward. It's a very good system, and dual X mode is excellent because the first mode engages that system. The second mode, the deep snow mud setting, allows for additional wheel spin. It cuts traction control. So by cutting traction control, you have more power, and you can also kind of claw your way through difficult terrain. Let's go ahead and see if we can do EV only motoring. I'm selecting it. I'm not seeing anything on the dash changing. So let's just listen. Put the window down, see if we just hear the hum of an electric motor. That's pleasant. I like this. It'll do EV mode up to 25 miles per hour, which is plenty for trails like this, obviously. And of course, once we actually hit a grade or a difficult section, the gas engine kicks in. The Forester Hybrid here has 8.7 inches of ground clearance, just like a normal Forester. And that's kind of cool, because some of the other car makers, they'll actually lower the vehicle slightly when they make a hybrid because it improves fuel economy. But Subaru said, nah, well, we want it to be the same as all the others. And I'm thankful they did, because otherwise we'd probably be dragging on some of these sections. Eyesight keeps warning me about issues. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off in the system. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off. And there's a lot of washouts on this road, a lot of trenching, a lot of rocks. The suspension tuning, I've always been impressed with Subaru's choices, because they pick usually a suspension tuning that's a little on the soft side for street, but not bad. But it actually makes running on trails like this just so nice. Again, for a compromised vehicle, and essentially anything that's designed for both street and dirt is by its very nature a compromised vehicle. Now, this being a limited, it does not have a surround view camera system. That is only on the Touring. We looked at that in the preview video when we first had a first look at the Hybrid about a month ago, and I'll throw that up on the screen here now so you can see. Yeah, it's very nice surround view camera, but the same old cameras, like not an improvement in quality, which is kind of a little disappointing, frankly. The tires we're rolling on here are all seasons, and they're just some generic Vulcan tire. And you might not normally think, oh, well, off-roading with all seasons. Well, you can do it if the trail is modest enough. And so I don't expect anything too crazy here. But the thing about running all seasons is that what it does is it really stresses the all-wheel drive system, and that's to compensate for that lack of grip. So power transfer is critically important if you're under-tired for a specific adventure. Oh yeah, tight corner. Oh yeah, come on X-Mode, do the work. X-Mode is only active up to a certain speed. I believe it's 22, 25, something like that. But then it'll disengage when you hit that speed limit. But then when you go back under it, it will re-engage, which is nice. Okay, well, let's take the hard line right here and get a wheel lifted and see how this does. Usually climbing is the biggest issue, so you got to keep your foot on the throttle, shifts that power, and boom, up we go. So good. I feel like this trail is getting wilder. In X mode, if you lift off the gas and the brake, hill descent control kicks in automatically. Now with this, it'll actually lock in the speed of your approach. That's a key thing to remember. So I've lifted my foot off the brake completely, and it's easing us down, but it's a little faster than I like. So I am going to override it by putting my foot on the brake. But you can see those wheel brakes are working overtime. Okay, so now I'm just gonna apply a little throttle. Here we go. And yep, there we go. Hill descent control kicking in, doing the job. Now I would like it to actually be able to go slower. I'd like a manual control to put it down to like 1 or something, but the Subaru doesn't do that. What I'd like to do is find a place where I can just kind of explore the limits of this thing. Oh yeah, this will be perfect. So I don't want to go too high because if I slide laterally, I will high center or roll. So let's not do that. Not today, not with these hand-built pre-production vehicles. But I can kind of play with corners here. What, this 21-degree tilt there? That's not too bad. Now I have to be careful of my line because, again, this is not a wilderness trim. It has no underbody protection. Heck, doesn't even have all-terrain tires. But with X mode on, yeah, we're getting up it. Now I'm not picking deep snow mud because that would actually create more wheel spin. And given the fact that this vehicle is on all-season tires and the course is very rocky, I'm afraid that I might, tear a tire, rip a tire. So we can go up over this. No, can't make that. Let's turn off the rear auto braking because it keeps activating on me. It keeps enabling whenever I get up to a certain speed. Let's see if we can get up over here. Can we get up this? Come on, wheels, do your things. Well, let's see if I can go down this section of the course right here. I need to take a look though. Never assume. Oh yeah, we're not doing that. Definitely not doing that. The good thing is that both X mode and the hill descent control system work in reverse too. So I am using the brake to manage my descent, but whenever I start sliding, it's kicking in those brakes with individual wheels to keep me tracking the correct way so I don't get into a sideways slide. Very cool. Make sure we're not have a ledge there. Nope, we're good. Yeah, you back out over a ledge, bonk. That gets really embarrassing. Okay, well, that was fun. Let's go ahead and continue the trek up the mountain. Man, you know, it's not a 4Runner. It's not a Jeep Wrangler, but this little thing is shockingly capable for what it is. Little bump there. Let's get up and over. I want to change my ridge point so I didn't scrape the side up with the shrubbery. Okay, let's do it. One thing I noticed about the Subaru all-wheel drive system compared to others, especially while climbing, is that I don't feel like it's front bias, which is just such a common thing in these type of vehicles, and especially the hybrids. But this one, I feel like I have very, very even grip front to back. It's doing just a phenomenal job of locking in that center clutch to give us even power distribution. Absolutely amazing. Oh, this is cool. Dude, I assume this is where the road ends, but I can't see over the hood. So let's get this, lined up. Come on, over the edge. And boom. There we go. Ah, now I can see. Now it's a foot trail at this point. I guess we'll park it here and enjoy the view. I got this. I got this. There you go. Oh. Wow, look at that. It's spectacular. Overall, I love the new hybrid. This really is the best Forester you can buy. And honestly, the premium price is not that much higher than a standard Forester, and you get a lot of content for it. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share videos. We make them for you, and I hope you enjoy them. We'll see you again right here real soon.